Hey everyone, welcome to Reality Report with Ryan, where I talk about news, politics, debunking fake news, the woke mind virus, all from the perspective of a center-right leaning man who happens to be gay, but don't worry, we're not the Rainbow Mafia over here. So like, subscribe, and join us to lose your mind as we are every single day. Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. I want to talk about a couple of things today, but the first thing that I'm going to talk about is the whole Obama Russiagate thing, because everybody is talking about this every single day, and none of them are actually, everyone's saying treason, treason, treason. I am sorry to disappoint everyone, and if I'm wrong, I will admit that I was wrong, and I hope that I'm wrong. I hope to God that I am wrong. But I can almost 100% guarantee you that nothing is going to happen. This is literally just a distraction. They are putting on a show. They're putting on a show. You mean to tell me that nobody in the Department of Justice knows what the legal definition for charging somebody with treason is? You mean to tell me that? While some of them have actually said the word treason, treason is not the textbook dictionary definition when it comes to charging someone with treason. It is a very specific thing. So I'm going to go over it one more time just to make sure that I get this point out very clearly, while all of these YouTubers and all of these news broadcasters and everything are all telling you that it's about to go down. Obama's about to be arrested. He's going to go to prison. All these other people are going to be arrested and go to prison. No, they're not. Nothing is going to happen, y'all. Nothing is going to happen. All right? And here's why. Treason has a very narrow legal definition in the United States. Under Article 3, Section 3 of the U.S. Constitution, treason against the United States shall consist only in levying war against the United States, or in adhering to their enemies, giving them aid and comfort. This was election interference. This was a conspiracy. This does not qualify under United States law as treason. So you can look up a definition of treason all that you want. You can Google, what is treason? It's going to give you a definition, but that definition is not going to be the legal definition to charge someone with treason in the United States. I'm telling you, like, this is pulling from this is pulling from United States law. This is not just something I made up. This is not just something that I Googled real quick. This is actually pulling from United States law. The U.S. is not in a declared state of war with Russia. We would have to be in a declared state of war with Russia and have aided Russia in this conspiracy. Okay? We're not at war with Russia. We were not at war with Russia at the time that this happened in 2016 and 2017. Like, this is not going to be charged. No one's going to be charged with treason. And like I said, and here's the steps. What must be proven? The United States has an enemy. The accused must have aided an enemy of the United States. We would have had to have been at war with Russia, and Obama and his administration would have had to aid Russia somehow in this conspiracy, which it does not look like that happened. There is no evidence that that happened at all. The accused gave aid and comfort to the enemy. They didn't give anything to Russia, and we weren't at war with Russia. Intent to betray the United States. Yes, they did betray the United States, but this still does not consider treason under the United States law, because we were not at war with Russia and nobody was aiding Russia at war. Like, it's not hard for people to just look this up. It's not hard. You just have to know the right things to ask and the train of thought to go to. I'm not looking for a textbook definition of treason on a broad scale. I'm looking for what the United States law definition of treason is, and did these people commit it? As far as we know, with all the information that we have, they did not. And all the other statutes of limitation on conspiracy and seditious conspiracy and all the other charges that they could be charged with is 5 years. The last known action taken was 2017. We were more than 5 years past that. So they would have to prove that there were acts taken by all of these people within the past 5 years in order to charge them with anything. So while all of these people are talking about treason this and treason that, and Obama's going to jail, sorry, I wish I was wrong, but he's probably not. All right. So if any new information about this comes out, I will talk about it, but I'm not going to keep on talking about it every day like these idiots. Like, I just wanted to talk about it one more time and look it up again just to see, make sure no new information has come out, because everyone keeps on making these videos every single day, acting like they're giving brand new information. It's like, no, you're not. You don't have any new information. Why is there a new video about this? I don't even know. So that's it. Now we're going to talk about something else. So those of you that have been around for a while know that I have talked about the missing migrant children many, many times. And those of you that don't know about this, during Biden's open borders, there were children brought here without any parents, because Joe Biden made it a law that if a child comes here without any adults, then they are not to be turned away, that we just take them in. So hundreds of thousands of children crossed the border without their parents and came here through the cartels, aka they were trafficked. And then our government knew that they were being used as child labor and used in the sex trafficking operations and things like that, and they did nothing to stop it. In fact, Mayorkas said that it wasn't his job to find these missing children. Well, there's more and more information coming out about this, and now I found a video of this Miss Hopper is talking about during a House Homeland Security hearing, talking about this hotline where the numbers given to these children who are sponsored by adults. She states that it was easier for them to sponsor a child than to adopt a dog. Like, there's barely any paperwork to it. The children are given a hotline phone number to call in case they need help, and over 65,000 calls went unanswered, and some of them were answered, and they were children asking for help, and nobody went to help them. And our government has known this the entire time. Only now that the Trump administration has taken over is anyone actually looking into this and trying to find these children. Like, this is sick. This is absolutely sick. And the Democrats are mad that they're having this hearing and deflect. You're going to hear from one of them how she's deflecting from these children needing help by talking about false information and Elon Musk's tweets and USAID, their little piggy bank, being dismantled. It's absolutely disgusting.
So you're telling this committee that the Biden administration, while they were letting all of these unaccompanied minors into the country, and as we've talked about today, they weren't keeping track of them, they issued these kids a hotline that they could call if they had trouble with the sponsor family that they were put with? And you're saying that 65,000 calls to this hotline designated to protect these kids went unanswered? Is that what you're telling this committee?
Yes, sir. Those calls spanned from, complaints about stale bread all the way to being abused, to one case where a child's call was reporting that grown men were coming into his room at night and they were touching him. Nothing happened with that call. That call went unanswered. I said that it was easier to get a child, yes, than to adopt a dog. You actually had to provide more paperwork to adopt a pet from a pet shelter than you did to sponsor a child.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, for holding this hearing today on how NGOs facilitated the Biden border crisis. You can see our colleagues are very upset that we're having this hearing today. They don't want to talk about this stuff. They don't want to talk about the 300,000
The Democrats don't want to talk about the problem that they helped facilitate. The human trafficking on a massive level, probably the biggest human trafficking scandal in history. They're responsible for it. That's why they don't want to talk about it. It's their fault. And they can't accept any type of responsibility. They can't like show any type of compassion for these children. They're just going to throw little hissy fits and read their little scripts.
1,000 kids that we still don't know where they are. They're upset that President Trump got elected. They're upset that he's doing exactly what he said he was going to do.
Upset that he
and we're backing him up here in Congress.
is going to stop their
This is
sex
what the
trafficking
American
ring.
people voted for because they saw 4 years of the carnage that these open border policies plagued on the United States. And we're talking about the NGOs that they used as middlemen to carry out their operations, like the Catholic charities they used to facilitate, normalize, and accelerate illegal immigration into this country. Ms. Hopper, you've worked closely with trafficking victims.
And you're going to hear the Democrat actually defending these charities. What do we know? And not to offend any Catholics out there, okay? Because like this happens in every demographic, every religion, every whatever. There's bad people all over the place. But we know that the Catholic Church has had a problem with PDF files, okay? And not the kind of PDF files that you get on your phone. This is like we know that they have had an issue with that. And while, yes, most of the people that work for these charities are probably good-hearted people with good intentions, that doesn't mean that there's not people in these charities with bad intentions. All right. So you're going to hear this Democrat, after he gets done talking, defending these charities while completely ignoring the fact that there could be evil people in these charities that want to traffic children. Like, just because it's a Catholic charity doesn't mean there can't be bad people in it. So I just wanted to call out the little correlation there, you know, and the fact that he's talking about these charities who were involved in this. And then you're going to hear this Democrat completely not say anything about what is happening to these children.
Victims and survivors. I'd like to explore the role that the NGOs have played in enabling the trafficking and exploitation of unaccompanied alien children. Under the last administration, what safeguards were put in place to protect vulnerable unaccompanied children?
I previously discussed the post-placement welfare checks, which consisted of 2 phone calls. Again, if the sponsor didn't answer, the case was no longer followed up on. But there was also a notice of concern hotline where people could report concerns about the unaccompanied child's safety.
So if the call's not answered, we're just going to pretend like this child doesn't even exist anymore. We're not going to go and check and make sure that the kid's still alive and not being abused and actually being taken care of. We're just going to pretend like they don't even exist anymore in the United States.
But what this administration found was from August 2023 to January of 2025, 65,000 calls went unanswered. Those calls spanned from, complaints about stale bread all the way to being abused, to one case where a child's call was reporting that grown men were coming into his room at night and they were touching him. Nothing happened with that call. That call went unanswered until this administration took office, went through those 65,000 calls, made follow-ups, conducted a welfare check, and now that child has been rescued and that sponsor has been arrested. These are the safeguards that were put in place, but accountability and oversight was not.
A whole new administration had to be, from the opposition, had to be elected in through a presidential election in order for this child to be saved from being trafficked to grown-ass men. A whole new administration. had to be elected in order to stop the molestation of this child. If that doesn't piss you off beyond belief, if that does not piss you off beyond belief, these are demons. These Democrats are demons. Like, they are full of demons. And if you don't believe in demons, I don't rationalize it to some type of earthly evil. This is satanic. This is absolutely satanic. If none of these conspiracy theories about the Clintons going to these secret meetings in the woods and sacrificing children have made you believe that they are actually demonic people, satanic people, this is enough proof to show you the Democrats are satanic. Like, this is why I say, like, even if the Republicans threaten to take away my rights as a gay man, I cannot bring myself probably ever again to vote for Democrats because they are demonic.
Not had.
So you're telling this committee that the Biden administration, while they were letting all of these unaccompanied minors into the country, and as we've talked about today, they weren't keeping track of them, they issued these kids a hotline that they could call if they had trouble with the sponsor family that they were put with. And you're saying that 65,000 calls to this hotline designated to protect these kids went unanswered? Is that what you're telling this committee?
Yes, sir.
Wow. That is unbelievable. Unbelievable. I believe you also said, Ms. Hopper, that according to your research, it was easier to adopt a pet or a dog than it was to get one of these children. Is that what you said?
I said that it was easier to get a child, yes, than to adopt a dog. You actually had to provide more paperwork to adopt a pet from a pet shelter than you did to sponsor a child.
Yeah, and think about it, guys. This is exactly why the American people are so upset. This is why they voted for the president, and this is why they voted for this agenda.
Yep.
To not only remove people from this country, to secure our borders, but to find these kids.
This is why people who hate Donald Trump voted for him, because they cannot bring themselves to vote for Democrats anymore, because they have shown that they are evil, satanic people.
I mean, this is completely atrocious in a day and age where we're starting to wake up to the realities of sex trafficking and what's going on with these kids. They let all these kids in. We still don't know where over 300,000 of these kids are. And you're sitting here testifying, saying that they gave a hotline for these kids to report if they were okay, if they needed anything, and 65,000 calls went unanswered. Do you know how many staffers the administration assigned to answering these phones and helping these kids? One staffer? Any idea how many hours a day this staffer was
Because they don't
working?
care. This was their intention.
Maybe that's why there were 65,000 calls that weren't answered from these little kids, huh? Unbelievable. Thank you. I yield back.
Wonder how many kickbacks Gavin Newsom has gotten from this whole
The
operation.
gentlelady from New
Here
Jersey,
comes the
Ms.
demon
McGowan,
now.
For 5 minutes.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I first want to start off by just advising that witnesses should definitely come here with the facts. One of the witnesses today stated that
The facts are that kids are being trafficked and you don't care. That's the facts. Watch how she reads from this sheet. She has a script. Look at that. That's not even normal notes. She wrote a script. And I guarantee if we were to watch the entire hearing, every single Democrat would be reading off of this exact same script. Because that's what they do. If you guys ever watch these hearings, the Republicans address the issue at hand in normal cases. Sometimes they go over to other topics because it's relevant, because they want to get some type of a feel for this person's character. So they ask them other questions related to other things. like, what is a woman? You know, Ketanji Brown Jackson, we know, is her dissents are being completely torn apart by all members of the Supreme Court because she doesn't even seem to understand the Constitution. She couldn't define what a woman was in her hearing. She should have never been granted the position. So they ask questions like this, but the Democrats go around and they each read the exact same script, almost every single one of them, every single time. And it almost never has anything to do with what the hearing is about. If it's something that they were partially responsible for, they will never talk about what the hearing's actually about because they know that it's their fault.
I was arrested, and that's a complete lie, and I want to put that on the record. Mr. Chairman, this hearing is a sham, and a complete disgrace. Just because Republicans don't want to see it doesn't mean it's not true. The charities the majority is targeting are doing the Lord's work, quite literally. Republicans are trying to misrepresent and undermine and attack the work of these charities due to assist the most vulnerable and underserved, all while quoting scripture from the Bible. No matter what narrative my colleagues across the
You notice how they always want to bring up the Bible when they're the ones that were going after people in churches and arresting them and shit. You know, they're the ones that arrest people for talking to people out, trying to pray with people outside of abortion clinics and things. You know, they always want to bring up the Bible and act all self-righteous. She's not going to mention one single thing about these kids. Nothing.
I'll try to spin. The truth is that these religious organizations and other nonprofits are not political. They seek to provide aid to those who are fleeing violence and seeking asylum. To every person working at the charities, religious organizations, and other NGOs that are the subject of this hearing, I say this to you: thank you, and I am sorry. Thank you for providing the services and resources that our government
Are you
has
sorry
failed
to the
provide
kids?
to desperate people who are in need.
Or are you just sorry
And I
to
am sorry that
organizations?
Republicans are trying to intimidate you and prevent you from carrying out this critical work. I am appalled that this hearing is being used as an attempt to target religious organizations and
Fuck off.
prevent them from serving their communities in accordance with their faith. Meanwhile, the Republican majority has not done.
I can't watch any more of that, y'all. I cannot watch her again. I can't. She is a demon. This woman is a demon. All throughout her script, she's defending adults in organizations. She's not defending innocent, defenseless children that are being touched by strangers and used as labor, slave labor. They just found children. Most of them, they found 10 or 12. I think it was 10 children. 8 of them were unaccompanied minors. All of them were working in a weed farm that gave donations to Gavin Newsom's campaigns. Like, give me a break. And Gavin Newsom comes on and he defends the pot farms and condemns ICE for saving children from slave labor. And then you have these demons that are defending organizations that are run by adults instead of defending innocent, defenseless children. These people are demonic. I can't stop saying it. This is Satan at work right in front of us. Right in front of us in our government. Satan. Leave a comment below and tell me what you guys think about this. Make sure you're subscribed if you're not already. And hit the like button, and I'll see you on the next one.